Hello, my name's Mark Foxwell. I'm the creative director of Genesis Imaging, and I'm one of the photography judges on the Ashurst Prize. My pathway into the arts was straight out of school, into an apprenticeship. Worked at a company called Vala Studios, which was a place that did Cibachrome printing, which wasn't common at the time, and we were one of the test bed firms for doing Cibachromes. So lots and lots of mad and wonderful people came through the door, but at the age of 17 and a half, 18, I had no idea who they were. So I had Norman Parkinson, Haas, Litchfield, Donovan, Bailey, all sorts of people running through the building, and I'm thinking, oh, who are these? But at 17, you don't think about that, you just carry on. I've worked in printing and production for 40 odd years now. The reason I actually love it is that every day is a challenge and different. So you get out of bed in the morning, you don't know what you're going to get, and if you do know what you're going to get, it's prepped a day or so before. And you walk in and it can change within 2 minutes to what you're doing. I just have a love of this stuff because I've always been interested in photography ever since I was at school. So I've just carried on through, and because every day is different, I just carry on and on and on, probably till I die in front of the computer screen now. But in the old days it was enlargers and wet processes, and now it's moved on. So the career highlight for me was actually having something I printed in the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and the fact I was actually in New York at the time and actually saw it up on the wall, asked someone to take a picture of me with it, and it was so blurry, one of the passerbys, that I have no record of that at all. But the work was sitting right next to Warhol as well. I don't like to pigeonhole movements. I'm just into things that I can relate to. That's the whole point of art. So if I engage in it, then that's fine. You know, if I have an emotional engagement, then it's fine. That's all I'm interested in. So I don't see it pigeonholed into photography, arts, music, whatever. I just see it as a whole, people trying to express emotion. My one piece of advice is to be true to yourself and your work. Your heart, if it's heartfelt, then it's good. It doesn't matter whether anybody else actually likes it, but if that's the point of doing it, is because it's an emotional release and you're trying to express yourself. So just do it. And I would say if it's heartfelt, then it's good. It's done its job. Perseverance is important. You know, I would say that unless you persevere, you're never going to get better. You know, I'm high up in my field only because I've been here so long. You know, it's just one of those things. You get to meet people, you get to engage with people, and then people want to know you. It's kind of weird because of, you know, so you just keep going. Perseverance is important. And if you're gaining anything from doing the work itself, then it won't seem like perseverance. You'll just be doing. So just keep going forward. My key advice for artists and photographers presenting their work, it should be a conversation with yourself if you are producing the work yourself, a conversation with someone like ourselves if we're doing you're doing photographic work, or your preferred people or production team, and do your research. If you want it to have a particular feel, there's lots of options. So look at all the options. I generally say to people, have a look at exhibitions that they love, think about the things they love, and then does that work with their work? And how then did they produce that work? It's a good starting point to work from. Then it will develop out from there. Then you have the conversations with people like myself, or production teams, or framing people, and it kind of expands out. And that becomes part of your knowledge, so that it becomes part of your work. I do think we have responsibility for passing the knowledge on. If you ignore it, that's fine, but you have to put it back into the system. So it's as you learn, I think it's really good to give back as much as you can. I try. There's often not enough time in the world to do it all, but if a little bit of it inspires someone or moves them on that extra step or that one little thing, then that's great, because then they own it and it becomes them. As a judge on the prize, I'm hoping to see things that grab me. It's as simple. The problem with something like judging is it's subjective. So as a judge, I'm putting my likes and dislikes onto what I'm seeing. So it can be only my personal opinion. I can be a little open-minded as regards things, but it's just me making a judgment. So it's not bad, it's not good, it's just how I feel about it. We'll go to your website, we'll look at it if we're interested to go further. We'll read all the statements, but first and foremost, the actual work has to capture me, and then I'll carry on from there. And if I don't understand, I'll try and understand. I think the role of photography in the art world it's limited by the fact that people can't comprehend not pigeonholing things. So as I was saying earlier, whatever art form it is, whether it be dance, music, painting a stairwell, any of these things that be called art forms, they're all coming from the same source, the human being. And people only pigeonhole things that, like, photography is not an art form, or it is an art form, or it sits in this group of artists, because that's the only way the human can cope with it. They're thinking, oh, that should be there, that should be there, that should be there. We've always edited and worked like that as human beings. Whereas the actual heartfelt need to do it is across all those forms, as forms. So I think anybody that tries to express themselves, it's art. If you have to give it a name, it's not different art forms. It only becomes different art forms when you have to join a tribe of people in order to progress your work. So I'm in the photography tribe, I'm in the art tribe. Why can't they be the same? It frustrates me, but we work with what we've got, and you try and, wherever you can, knock down the barriers a little bit. That's all. I think the art world needs just less, actually, as opposed to more. I think it needs to be less business and more feelings. That's what I get. And the reason for doing this art is about your sanity, and that's it. It's your way of expressing things. I don't know what to say on that one, if I'm honest. I haven't really thought about it that hard.